Hey there, it's Angela again. And today I want to talk to you about the probably one of the most common emotions that comes up with grief, and that is guilt. And guilt, um, it has lots of different forms depending on um, how your person died. For me, and I can only share from my experience, but my husband died of colon cancer. He was sick for about 10 months. So from the time he was diagnosed in January 2021 until he passed away in October of 21, um, I was trying to help him. Of course, I was, right? And yet the diagnosis was stage 4 colon cancer. And through it all, I believe I really truly had a lot of hope that, you know, this would all just be okay. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that um, I had heard stories, there were miracles out there. I had read books about people who had stage 4 cancer before and had beat it. And so I just thought, you know what? There's a good possibility that he will too. And I just kept that in my mind. And I was very interested in energy healing, um, basically, since my son was very little. Um, and there's a whole story around that too. But so I started to practice more energy healing with him. And I had a couple of energy healers working with him. And, we did all kinds of things. We tried all kinds of stuff, we got a naturopath and we tried some different things to try to help his immune system. And, we did all the chemo, we did everything that the doctors told us. Um, but in the end, he still died. And so when, the grief hit, there was all this guilt. And I think a lot of it stemmed from, just could I have done more? Was there more we could have done? Could we have gone somewhere? Maybe we could have gone to Mexico and got some treatment, or, maybe we could have gone to Europe. I read about some people who went to Europe. Some people, I read in a book how, Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about how, you can heal. And I just thought, that miracle would be there. And when it wasn't, I was trying to figure out what I could have done differently. What could I have done? And the guilt set in. And the trouble with guilt is that if you keep feeling it and you don't really deal with it, at some point it even becomes shame, because shame is guilt when you don't want to talk about it, because you not only think that you did something bad, but you are bad, right? And so these emotions are really tough, and they're really normal when it comes to grief. And there's something that I think need to be addressed um, right away. The sooner the better. We need to address those things. And so there was different ways that I addressed that. I mean, first of all, I had to recognize that I was feeling guilty. I mean, there was a lot of me that just said, "No, I'm good." There's your mind kind of shuts it off. It doesn't want to feel all of that. Um, but when I did realize that, and I had been working with healers, and they were telling me, you have survivor's guilt. You have guilt. And I was like, oh, I don't know if it's as bad as you think. You kind of get it in your head that, you're better than you. Yeah. Anyway, I wasn't. Um, so, what really helped me was I sat and I wrote about it a lot. I talked to Blaine a lot. I still communicate with him. I tell him about my day, and I talked to him, and I remember apologizing, and then one time, uh, well, a couple of times, I had gone to healers, and Blaine had stepped in, and he just said, "There's nothing you could have done to save me. There was nothing you could have done." Um, and if you're one of those people that believes in, you know, purpose and things happening and our souls planning, um, you know, there's something to this life that we live. And so I just had to let go of it. I just had to let go of it. I had to make amends with it. And it took some time. And I didn't only have to let go of that, but I also had to let go of a lot of things around it. Like, why couldn't that oncologist have helped him? And why was he? I remember when the treatment was over, Blaine had died. I never heard again from that oncologist. And we had met with him, regularly for that whole 10 months. And when he died, I don't know, he just disappeared. And I just remember being so bitter about that. I was just so disappointed. And of course, I mean, I don't know how many patients he has and how many times this happens to him. And I don't imagine it's easy for him either. But, I just couldn't get over the fact that I didn't even get, a phone call or a card or, anything. Right. And I had to let go of that too. Like there's so many of those types of things that we have to let go. And it's not because you're doing it for the other person, it's you're doing it for you. You're lightening your load. Because even if I could have done something to save Blaine, I didn't know about it. And so in the end, you only do as good as you can. And nobody comes into this life trying to fail, right? And so, yeah, guilt is a big one. And I would recommend, if you're struggling with that one, to get a coach, get somebody to talk to about it that can really help you through it. Somebody who has experience, somebody that you trust, because it is a really big one, and it will hold you back. It will hold back your healing if you're feeling guilty. So that's what I wanted to talk about today, and we'll see you next time.